Just ahead on American Black Journal, a national conference on diversity in the arts is coming to Detroit. We'll talk with the Sphinx Organization about the challenges that minorities still face when it comes to inclusion in performing arts. Plus, Kiwanis leaders from around the world are convening in Detroit to celebrate 100 years of service. Stay right there. American Black Journal is next.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. Inclusion in the arts remains a major issue for minorities. At many orchestra concerts, there's a lack of diversity in both the performance and in the audience. The Detroit-based Sphinx Organization was founded to bring about change by engaging the industry and promoting diversity in classical music and the performing arts. The flagship program for Sphinx is the annual competition for young Black and Latino string players, seen here on Detroit Public Television. The contest gives young musicians of color an opportunity to perform under the guidance and mentorship of internationally renowned artists. The Sphinx Organization also hosts an annual conference to discuss the issues surrounding the lack of diversity in the arts. This year's conference takes place January 30th through February 1st at the Weston Book Cadillac. Joining me now are two members of the Sphinx staff, Dowell, who's Director of Programming, and Caen Thomason-Redus, who's Director of Corporate Partnerships. Thanks for being here. So this is one of my favorite shows every year when we have Sphinx on to talk about not just the competition, but now SphinxCON. This organization is just tremendous in the way it has reached out to kids who otherwise probably wouldn't ever have found this sort of thing to be part of their lives.
Yeah, Sphinx's mission is really, transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. And we do that through four main programs, one of them being education and access, where we literally go into schools and put violins in the hands of kids.
Sure.
And give them lessons and private lessons as well. Another program area is our artist development program, where we have the National Sphinx Competition, where the nation's top Black and Latino musicians are competing for a top prize of $50,000 and the opportunity to perform with some of the nation's leading orchestras, including our very own Detroit Symphony Orchestra as well, who also host the National Sphinx Competition. We also have our performing artists that includes the Sphinx Virtuosi, who do a national tour, and our arts leadership, which also includes our SphinxCON that's actually coming up next week, which we would love to talk about. And our theme this year is SphinxCON Engage, and really engaging the community to really talk about these issues of diversity.
Right, right. Well, last year was the first year for SphinxCON.
Actually, last year was the second year. So this is the third.
This is the third. Talk about where the idea for that came from, and I understand that this year is going to be a little different.
Yeah, where the idea came from. It's essentially, we've been doing this in a lot of different ways, a lot of different places, working with professional organizations, leading professionals all around the country. And our founder, our president, Aaron Dworkin, he basically was just kind of tired of the fact that there wasn't just one place to get all these people together to focus on these kinds of issues.
Yeah.
And these issues being not just diversity in the arts, but how you leverage that diversity to really make meaningful impact in the community. So, it's for art's sake, it's for community's sake, and basically we just wanted to get together everybody that we've been working with, one place, one time, focus on it, help each other, just share best practices, get inspiration. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And as far as what's different this year, with the Engage theme, we've been hearing from our attendees that they love the content, they love the speakers, they love they love Detroit, they love coming here.
Yeah.
Many of them have not been here before or haven't been here for years or decades, and they love being here in Detroit, even in winter, even in February. So getting them here, they were telling us that they wanted more opportunity to engage with the speakers, with the content, with just the cohort that formed around this. So this year we've changed the format pretty dramatically so that each speaker is not just giving a set presentation. There's a lead speaker, then there's a panel of respondents that are also local and national leaders in these fields, and they're addressing it kind of as a conversation, you know, basically like we're doing now. And then there's actually facilitated discussion with the entire audience of attendees. So everybody gets a chance to have their moment to interact, to interact with the ideas, with the people around them, and we're really looking to get some new ideas happening.
And that's really one of the most important parts is really the engage, is the audience participation portion, because there's never a time where you get so many people in a room and you're really trying to engage the entire audience in these conversations, because they're just not being talked about. And it's something that we really want to come out in our conference is for everyone to have a voice. So whether you're a student, whether you're a business, whether you're in an executive role, we want everyone to come out and really engage in this conversation and discuss these real issues.
I was at SphinxCON last year, and what impressed me was the breadth of different presenters. I mean, you're talking about not just people talking about the arts and music, particularly, but I mean they were people from all walks of sort of performing arts kind of experiences, and I learned a ton of things just sitting there. One presenter that stands out is a professor from University of Michigan who came and played and had someone sing the Star-Spangled Banner, but not the Star-Spangled Banner that we know and sing before football games and baseball games, but the sort of historical version of that, and how those versions changed over time.
And all the verses in that, which really are some dramatic political statements. That, you know, just are not part of the history anymore.
Absolutely.
It
really blew me away.
A lot of people came.
And I think I was surprised. I mean, I knew about Sphinx. I knew what I thought the focus of the convention would be, but I was really shocked by the diversity of people who were there.
Yeah, most people know Sphinx as a classical organization because of our flagship program, the National Sphinx Competition. But I mean, this year we have 7 different tracks where we're focusing on dance and theater and LGBTQ, research and policy, innovation, philanthropy, and arts and healing. So it's really a wide scope and breadth of diversity in terms of what we're speaking about and who's also engaging in the conversation as well.
Yeah, so with the people we have speaking and attending, we've got people from philanthropy, public policy, obviously the performing arts, the practitioners, the presenters, the students. We've got local students, we've got students from the area coming in, and then, you know, nationally renowned, internationally renowned in some cases, people dealing with research and just really the, you know, hardcore community education, like how are we getting the arts to the widest possible number of people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big problem right now, not just in cities like Detroit, where arts programs, of course, have been on the chopping block for a long time, but you can go to the suburbs, and well-funded districts are struggling to keep this opportunity alive for kids.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I've seen with our arts development program, we have our Sphinx Virtuosi who goes out on tour every year. And it's amazing to me to see like the different types of audiences and the diversity that comes to see us perform. And so it's not just, you know, it's a national issue in terms of engaging and really starting the conversation, but knowing how to follow through and to keep your audiences, your students, your musicians really engaged in the scene and diversity in the arts.
Right. Where do we stand right now with the whole question of diversity? I mean, you guys have been at this a good long time. Obviously, you have found some extraordinary musicians who probably would not have had the opportunity to become musicians if not for Sphinx. But is it a lot easier now to get this kind of experience for Black and Latino kids? Are we still really struggling?
Well, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of ways to look at it.
Right.
There's a few metrics we look at. So the Sphinx competition for Black and Latino string players, that original focus was decided because in classical symphonies, in orchestras around the country, combined Black and Latinos about 20 years ago made about 2% of those orchestras. So that's serious underrepresentation. At this point now, it's up to a whopping 4%.
Okay,
So
well, that's double.
And yeah, so it is double. It's double, but it's still 4%.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the impact Sphinx has had in that one particular metric, in almost every case, maybe every case, I'm always hesitant to say every, but in 99% of the cases, either the person involved who is diversifying that orchestra or the orchestra itself, one of those, sometimes both, were artistic partners of the Sphinx Organization.
Okay. Yeah.
So either we've helped put that person into the pipeline and help get them to that level, or we've helped the orchestra on an organizational level just really embrace that process. That does not mean that it actually affects their audition process.
Okay.
That's a very sacrosanct thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change and has a lot of other things to consider there. But what it does mean is that we are at least starting to change the concept. We're getting more people into the pipeline, and that's a tricky thing, especially when you're dealing with something like learning a string instrument. That's something that the people that are, for instance, the people that are in the Detroit Symphony, one of the greatest symphonies in the country, a lot of them started when they were 3 years old.
Right.
So, we can't walk around the neighborhoods and give violins to every 3-year-old.
Right.
So it's a long pipeline to work with. But, we get in there at different points in their life and try to make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that always strikes me about Sphinx is if you go and hear the competition or catch a performer somewhere who was part of the organization, it's that level of excellence. I mean, there is there's no caveat to the talent that you guys are finding, or to the heights you're able to push them just by giving them a chance.
Yeah, really, it's access, and a lot of that is really networking and being able to find and nurture these talented musicians. I mean, these are the nation's top Black and Latino musicians competing and networking with some of the world's leading musicians across the world. And so it's really a great opportunity for everyone to just come together, network, and learn from each other as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, the other piece of this, right now we're talking about the really high level, the end game of getting people into, symphony orchestras, which is amazing. But, a lot of it is also just what the arts can do for kids wherever they are, whatever their experience is. So like here in Detroit, we have programs like our Overture program, where we take kids starting in about 3rd grade, we give them violins, we give them lessons, we give them group lessons during the week, twice a week in their school. We give them summer lessons privately. They get to come to our programs. They have artists visit. And for these kids, it's not so much that, we're not tracking how many 3rd graders are getting into the Detroit Symphony. What we're looking at is the outcomes in the classroom. We're seeing them more engaged. We're seeing that a lot of these kids are coming to school because of their after-school education that they're getting.
Sure.
They show up and they have the same teacher every week, twice a week, teaching them violin. They see that this person loves them and is dedicated to them. That makes a big difference. And I'm not saying they don't get that in their classroom, but we know it's a struggle, and we know not every student gets that. So when we're able to help,
there's never enough of it.
Yeah, and and for some kids, the arts is a form of expression that really opens up things for them. The questionnaires we do, we see responses like, after I play my violin, I feel better, or I wasn't afraid of my test anymore.
Right.
Whatever. It's like it's why we have the arts in general. It frees us up a little bit. So the kids deserve that as much. Here they definitely need that. And and at SphinxCON we're bringing people from around the country that are doing that exact kind of work.
Right. How can people come see what I saw last year at SphinxCON?
Definitely. We go to our website, register at SphinxCON.org. Also come to our finals concert, where the nation's top Black and Latino musicians will be competing in partnership.
Which is something. You really have to see that to really get just that level of excellence that's represented there.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just an awesome opportunity. And everyone can still be engaged. There's an audience choice award, so people can vote for their favorite person as well. So it's really a great opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being here, guys, and good luck at the convention.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just ahead on American Black Journal, an international organization dedicated to serving children and the community celebrates 100 years. That's next, right after this look at some important moments in Detroit's Black history.
I'm Kim Trent with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1995, Grant Hill of the Detroit Pistons became the first rookie to lead all NBA players in All-Star votes. In 1969, Motown Records released Stevie Wonder's My Cherie Amour. And in 2000, the Reverend Dee Dee Coleman was installed as pastor of Russell Street Baptist Church. She became the first woman to lead the congregation. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history. taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
Here's a bit of trivia you may not have known. The first Kiwanis club in the world was founded by a group of businessmen in Detroit in 1915, which means this month marks the 100th anniversary for the service organization that now has more than 600,000 members around the world. The Detroit Club and Kiwanis International are wrapping up a week-long celebration and convention in the city where it all started. Joining me now are three members of the Detroit Kiwanis Club. Number one, Eric Sabri, who's the club president, Jeanette Harris, who's chairperson of the Eliminate Project, and Dr. Barbara Jean Johnson, who's public relations chairperson. Welcome to American Black Journal. I have to admit, before I read that in my script before the show, I did not know that Kiwanis was founded in Detroit, and I wonder if that's something that people generally understand about the organization's history.
I don't think most people really know that.
Yeah,
we've been getting the word out more because of the 100th anniversary that we're celebrating. We've been getting the word out more, and people are excited to hear that it started in Detroit.
Yeah, and what was the idea when they started this? Why did it start, and what was the goal?
In 1914. Alan Brown met with Joseph Prince, who was a tailor on Gratiot. He had a tailor shop on Gratiot. They were forming a businessmen's organization. And what they wanted to do is have camaraderie and networking among business people. So organizations started, but then it turned gradually towards service.
Okay.
And some people left, and then it grew to a service organization.
Yeah.
And 2 years after it started in 1915, it became international because we had Canadian clubs.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. And so that's what you guys are celebrating at the gala.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're celebrating all year. So it's just starting.
Yeah. Yeah. And the service. Talk about that aspect of it. What's the service component?
The service component is the most important because we're about not just the children of our area or the children of Michigan, but the children of the world. And each club picks a project that makes their signature project, but at the same time we have an international project, which is the one that I'm involved in, the Eliminate Project, which is about the business of ridding the world of maternal neonatal tetanus. In this time when the vaccine's been available since the 30s,
there's no
child
excuse.
should die.
That's right.
None.
Right, and that's about access and resources,
It's about access
correct?
and resources and knowledge that the women and their countrymen need to understand that you can't cut the umbilical cord with a stick and fed it with testing stores.
Right.
So we're about education, access, and knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Johnson, if I show up at some of these events, what am I likely to see, and what am I likely to experience in this 100th anniversary?
Well, we're very proud that we have several events going on this week. We started off on Tuesday with Detroit City Council. We were presented with a proclamation honoring Kiwanis with their 100th anniversary. Likewise, the governor of the state had also proclaimed yesterday, which is January 21st, Kiwanis Day in Michigan.
So did the mayor.
And so did the mayor. So did the mayor, you're right. And the rest of the week, Wednesday we did Cesar Chavez Academy. One of the things that Kiwanis has done and done so well is books for children. That's one of our signature projects, is providing books. We've provided over 1.5 million books to children over the past 12 years. And we went to Cesar Chavez Academy and we read. The Kiwanis members read to the children, grades 1 through 2. And that was a wonderful, fun event.
Yeah, yeah.
And we did the blood drive yesterday. And two hospitals, Children's Hospital of Michigan and Beaumont Children's Hospital, where they took teddy bears and they took dolls to children who suffer traumatic and sick children.
Right.
And Friday we'll have the dessert reception, which is sold out, by the way. If you want to come, it's too late. The dessert reception.
Too late for that one.
Too late. It's
right?
at the Detroit Historical Museum. And then Saturday is the culmination of our events, which will be our big concert and dinner.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
One of the things at the Historical Museum, we have a huge exhibit.
Yes.
And it's a very nice exhibit.
Yeah.
It'll be there until the middle of March as well. So
And the unveiling of the Detroit #1 marker
the
will be
historical
at
marker was redone, and we raised money and redid the historical marker. It's going to be unveiled that Friday night.
Right.
It's also going to be on display at the banquet at the Renaissance Ballroom on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. As club president at the 100th anniversary, tell me about where Kiwanis is headed in the future. What are some of the things that you see it doing in the next 100 years?
Well, one of the things, our international president, Dr. John Button, who's from Ridgetown, Ontario, he's no stranger to our area.
Right, that's not too far.
Isn't that right? Not far at all. And his slogan for the year is "The Way Ahead." It's his slogan, "The Way Ahead." So we want to move ahead. He said we have to move with the times. Many of the area of growth in Kiwanis, the most growth in Kiwanis is in Asia and in Latin America.
Okay.
In the United States, membership has been declining. So our effort here is to increase membership and to realize that many of our members can't come to noon meetings. We meet at noon on Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesdays.
I know that as someone who's been asked to speak at Kiwanis Club meetings over the years. It's always at noon. Right?
So we have the option now. You can have a satellite club. You can meet at a cafe with people who can't come to evening meetings or noon meetings. They can meet among themselves, still be part of our club, but not have to come to those meetings, and still just do service projects. Say we're going to do one service project every 3 months, and have meetings, even if it's over the internet.
Right.
And they can still be a member of Kiwanis. So we have to change our organization in order for membership to grow.
Right. You know. And you are part of a 3-generation involvement in Kiwanis, correct?
Yes, my dad was a member and president of the club. He joined in '73 and became a president in 1977. He was the first African-American president of the club, number 1 club. And he was involved in sales, and someone invited him to come to the club. He invited me to come out to a service project, and we were doing work with what was called then the John Lee Handicap Center, but now it's the Williamson Educational Center. Okay. I think it's on the east side near Warren and Kedgew, and we were having a big Christmas party for the children. Bought presents, had a party. And I just fell in love with what was going on. Yeah. So I started.
So you joined.
I joined, and my daughter and my wife also joined. So I'm really excited that the family is all part of it.
Yeah. Dr. Johnson, one of the things that strikes me about Kiwanis is how diverse an organization it is. You have Kiwanis members, like I said, 600,000 all around the globe, and in this country, it's in really disparate places. I mean, Detroit is really different from someplace else.
All of them are different. We all do service projects, but each club does different things, you know. But the primary goal is children.
Right.
And that's what drew me into it. And I think most of the people who are involved, because we make a difference in the lives of children, and that's the bottom line.
Right, right. Locally, of course, children in Detroit in particular, you know, are in a really vulnerable spot. There's lots of things that they need and need done for them. What's Kiwanis engaged with there?
And the largest one that Eric just mentioned is the Books for Kids.
Right.
We looked at when the libraries were starting to close, children did not have access to reading material. So in addition to providing the books for the children, our members also take the time to read with them and to work with them on promoting literacy. And some of our members also recognize that literacy is a family issue, and that you have to read and instruct parents to read. So we're about that business too. One of the tools that we also have is a local assessment. What does the community need that we can come in and work with them to do?
And is that what led you to the literacy issue here
Absolutely,
in Detroit?
Absolutely. The declining number of branch libraries.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's right. They keep closing them.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really exciting is that people want to work with us. And so we don't try to do a lot of things ourselves. We collaborate with others. Like we work with the Salvation Army, for instance, go out with the bed and bread truck. We'll go work with the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. We actually raise money for public TV here. We came out, usually once a year we come out and help with that. So we work with other organizations. And we also provide a lot of campership opportunities for youth in the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes Kiwanis different from some of the other service organizations is the leadership growth opportunities. That's very important to our organization nationally, internationally, to promote such opportunities. And we are the only service club that has clubs for developmentally disabled adults.
Okay.
And that's called the Action Club. And our club is one of the big sponsors in the area. And our partner is Cass Community Social Services, and they are very involved in aspects of service, singing to vets, singing to seniors, and the 25 members of the Action Club are very, very, very loving and excited to be a part.
And we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk.
Right.
Because Kiwanis has raised over $100 million for children.
For children.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's remarkable.
Right. Okay. Well, it was great to have you guys here, and happy 100th birthday.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Plus, you can now hear episodes of American Black Journal on WDET 1019 FM. We'll see you next time.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.